Hey everybody, welcome back to Wisdom and Wealth. Today we're going to talk about how you can create one sentence to guide all of your financial decisions moving forward. Welcome to Wisdom and Wealth, where we talk about the human side of money. Join us as we dive beyond the numbers, unpacking the psychology of money to equip you with the tools you need to be wise in wealth. I'm Brendan Frazier, Chief Behavioral Officer at RFG Advisory. And best-selling author Mark Manson says this. He says there's two possible outcomes in life. Either you choose to use it intentionally, or it's going to be chosen for you. And the same thing can be said for money. There's two possible outcomes with your money. Either you choose to use it intentionally, or it's going to be chosen for you. Anytime you're making a decision with your money, there's something that's guiding that decision-making process, whether it's intentional and conscious, or it might be subconscious. So if we're not intentional about how we want to spend our money, there's things that come in that guide that decision without us even realizing it. What that tends to look like is making decisions based on social comparison. Keeping up with the Joneses. What are our friends and our families doing? What are they spending their money on? Or if it's not that, oftentimes we'll default to what we've learned about money from the past, what our money memories have taught us. Maybe you grew up in a situation where you would never in a million years think about buying a new car if the old car that you had still hasn't broken down. It doesn't mean that's a bad decision, but it's not an intentional one. It's one that's made for you. In fact, in her book, The Top 5 Regrets of the Dying, Bronnie Ware, the author, when she interviewed people on their deathbed, we're going to talk about this in a future video, but one of the things that was pointed out as one of the top 5 regrets was not living a life true to yourself, but living a life that you think somebody else wanted you to live. We want to use money intentionally, and that's why you need a money mission statement. A money mission statement serves as your North Star or your guiding light. When done right, your money mission statement is something that anchors you to the things that are truly most important. It helps you identify this is what's most important to us and you stay focused on that, number one. Number two, having a money mission statement serves as a lens through which to make big money decisions. It helps make your decisions clear. Because when you know what's important to you, it becomes a good decision filter. Roy Disney once said, when your values are clear, your decisions are easy. So before we talk about how to go about crafting a money mission statement and what you should do with it, let me tell you about Michael. I got a call from Michael a number of years ago. He had just gotten back in town from spending a week at the beach in a friend's beach house where there was 3 families there, hanging out, having fun, spending time together at the beach. And the first thing Michael said was, Brendan, I want to buy a beach house for my family. Just a couple months before that, Michael and I had sat down and he had given me his money mission statement. And this is what it said. Money's purpose in my life is to provide security and stability to my family. It should never be valued over relationships or community, and excess should be freely and joyfully shared with others in need. And as I repeated that back to Michael, the part about providing security and stability was what hit him the hardest, because he knew that in order to buy a beach house, he was going to have to leverage some of his assets, take out more debt to finance the home, and he saw that as a threat to security and stability for his family. Fast forward a week later, Michael decides, you know what, I'm not going to buy the beach house because security and stability is more important. Does that mean that he shouldn't have bought the beach house? No. Does that mean that he'll never buy a beach house? No. But what happened in that moment was Michael had a statement to go back to that anchored him to what's most important to help him make an intentional decision with his money. So now let's talk about how do you create your own money mission statement, and then how can you go about using it in your life to make better, smarter, more intentional money decisions. Step 1 is to get really, really clear on the things that are truly most important to you. Again, remember, this is something that's going to anchor you to the things that are important to you in your life. This is about understanding your why. So you want to start asking questions like, why is money important to me? Why is money important to my family? When you ask yourself that question, if you have a conversation with your spouse, you're going to come up with a surface level answer, but keep going deeper. And you say, why is that important? Why is that important? And eventually you'll get to the real reason. Or you can ask, if money was no issue, if it was no concern, all of our bills were paid, what would our life look like? How would we be spending our time, effort, and energy. Another way to do that is to do what Jim Collins calls the 20-10 test. And ask yourself this question: if I had $20 million today, but I knew that I was only going to live for another 10 years, how would I spend that money and how would I spend my time? And does it look any different than what it looks like today? One other thing to try to figure out, hey, what is important to me? How do I want to spend my money and my time? Is to go back and reflect and think about what are the things that I've done in the past 6 months, in the last year, where I felt truly alive, felt meaning and felt purpose and thought, I want to do more of this. And here's an example. I had a client who once said that they realized, they went back and they looked over the last 6 months, they went through the pictures on their phone and they had been to 2 concerts. And they said that, those are 2 of the things that I've had the most fun doing in the last 6 months. That's something that I want to do more of moving forward. But come to find out, it wasn't actually about the concerts. It was the only 2 times in the last 6 months that he and his wife had time away from their kids to be together and have experiences together. And so what looked like a concert on the surface became, I need to be more intentional about spending my time and money to be intentional and have experiences with my spouse. So once you think through those things at a high level, here's a way to fill in the blank to create your money mission statement. It would be, money's purpose in my life is to blank. Money is important to our family because blank. And you fill in that blank. Fill in that with the things that are truly most important to you. So I already gave you Michael's example. Here are 2 more examples just to give you an idea of what that could sound like or feel like. Money's purpose in my life is to allow me to live life to the fullest and to contribute generously to those things I care about without worrying whether I can afford it. Or another one, the purpose of money in our lives is to provide quality, connected time together as a family, supporting a lifestyle that satisfies our needs with opportunities to give, travel, and save. Now, everybody's money mission statement is going to be unique. It's going to be different. But there's a few things you have to know about the money mission statement that apply to everybody. Number 1 is, what's the length? What's the ideal length? And the best way to think through that is to make sure that you include everything that's important to you, but ask yourself this. If somebody came up to me at a social gathering and said, what is your money mission statement? Could you recite it offhand? And if not, then it's probably too long and it needs to be condensed. Number 2, you've got to think through, how am I going to make sure that I don't come up with this and then let it fall into the background of the busyness of life? How can I keep this at the forefront? So here are a couple ideas. 1, I've had people that will print it out and laminate a card, put it in their wallet, put it in their car, put it in their bathroom, somewhere where they'll see it every day. Another idea is, think about any time you sit down to look at your money and your finances, whatever that looks like. Maybe it's with an advisor in the financial planning software. Maybe you have your own spreadsheet. Wherever it is, try to insert this statement at the very beginning or at the very top where you can be reminded of it anytime you're sitting there thinking through your money and making financial decisions. A third thing, a question that we get often, is, what do I do if I'm married? It's one thing for me to have my mission statement, but I've got another person involved in this as well. So here's how you go about doing that. It's what we call a family mission statement. You come up with your individual money mission statement. Your spouse, your partner, whoever it is, comes up with their individual money mission statement. You share those things together, and then you come up with a family mission statement. So money's purpose in our family is to blank. Last thing to know before you start crafting your money mission statement is, this is not written in stone. This isn't a one-time thing. It's a dynamic, changing, evolving statement, because not only do our needs change, but our lives change. And so this isn't something that you do once and you write it in stone and you never come back to. This is something that evolves. You want to come back and revisit on an ongoing basis at least once a year. And every year you want to look at it and read it out loud and say, does that still resonate? Is that still accurate? Does that still capture the things that are most important to us in our lives? And if not, you can update it, print a new card, put it on top of your anything you do money related, and you have a new guiding light, a new North Star, and a new lens to help you keep anchored to what matters most and serve as a way to make big financial decisions. As always, if you have any questions, if you want to talk with somebody about creating your money mission statement, reach out to your advisor and let them know. Thanks again for watching, and until next time, stay wise and well.